Hey guys, I'm gonna attempt to do this without crying, but Kara asked us to sort of put together a little video about what some of our thoughts and takeaways were from Summit. Uh, so here we go. Um, I guess I'll start by saying this. This was my second Summit. Last year I went to Summit as a baby coach, and Summit for me last year was an exposure to all of the possibilities with Beachbody. I thought I knew what I was coming into this year, um, but last year I guess was more about what is coaching, what is Beachbody, what can you do with it, what should you do with it, it was all about practicality. This year it was more about why. It was more about my why, and I felt very much more connected to my why. Um, Everybody knows that everything that I do um, in life in general is just to make sure that Messiah and Soleil can have anything and everything that that I could possibly give them, that they could possibly want in the world. But what's clearer to me this year, based on my experience at Summit, is what that really, really means. As a lot of you already know, Summit this year happened to fall on Sai's birthday, and I shared with you guys how hard that really was for me to be away from him for that. And I'm gonna try to do this without crying, but that was really, really hard. But what most of you don't probably know is that the reason that I am an entrepreneur, the reason that I'm a business owner, the single reason that I had the courage to even try was because this tiny little human was gifted to me. Oh goodness. Here we go. I still remember it was 27 and I had done all the right things. First comes love, and then comes marriage, and then comes a baby in the baby carriage, right? So that's what I did. I fell in love, and I got married, and we had a baby. But somehow we didn't get happily ever after. I was, like I said, 27 years old, and I was 5 months pregnant with this little bundle of joy, and also in the process of losing my marriage, my home, my independence, and a lot of my self-worth. And ended up moving me and my cat and my dog and my newborn son back home with my parents, and that was devastating to me. How dare I bring a child into the world and think that I could be a good mom when couldn't provide basics. A house, a roof. Like, how dare I become a mom, right? But my maternity leave was ending, and I looked at him and something just changed. I knew that there was no way that I could leave him or put him in daycare at 8 weeks old just so that I could go back to a job that was only going to be paying me enough to pay for the ability to be away from him for 8 to 10 hours a day. Like, that didn't make any sense to me, and I made him a promise. I didn't know how, but I made him a promise that I was going to make sure that we were okay. And that's the day that I became an entrepreneur. And when Soleil came 15 months later, the deal was sealed, and I haven't left them for 6 years. I haven't missed a single event in their life. And so to be away from them for 5 days wasn't the hard part. The hardest part was missing that was our day. The birthday. That's our special day, and I missed it. And it really forced me to figure out, if it hurts this much to be pursuing Beachbody and to be here because I'm pursuing Beachbody, is it worth it? Like, if it hurts that much to be here, then why the hell am I here? It was kind of what I was trying to figure out this year at Summit. And the reason I went, and the reason I coach, and the reason that I fight through those feelings is because of them. The reason I hustle, and the reason I groom, and the reason that I don't sleep, and the reason that I do it all is because I made a promise. I made a promise, and it's a promise that I intend to keep. It's not a promise that I can break without being broken. There's a difference between being home with them physically and being present for them emotionally. And I want to be available to them, not just in the same room, but I want to be in the moment and having experiences and creating not just an existence, but a life together with them. I want to be a part of it. I don't want to be stuck working. I don't want their experience to be that they sat at mommy's job all day because mommy has to go to work. Like, I gotta keep a promise. Sorry. I thought I was enough days past Summit to be able to get through this without crying, but apparently not. But anyway, back to Summit. The main takeaway that I have from Summit this year is that no fear that I have about failing as a business owner, as a coach, as an entrepreneur, none of those fears can even begin to compare to the fear that I have of breaking that promise that I made to them. Like, none of it. The fear of inviting people to challenge groups, and what are people thinking of me, and she's too fat for that, and did she really think that we care? Like, all of the fears that I have playing in my head, none of that matters. It doesn't matter if I'm missing my front tooth anymore. It doesn't matter if if I'm being too salesy to someone. It doesn't matter if I've been begging you to try Shakeology for a year and you still think it tastes like dirt. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Carrying all this baggage around and letting it keep me from building the business that I know is possible with Beachbody is essentially breaking that promise a little bit. And I had to own up to the fact that by half-assing my business and my health, I was well on my way to a broken promise. And as hard as it was to admit that to myself, and I guess to you guys now, but not doing everything that I can means that I'm doing it for nothing. And I can't do this for nothing because I'm choosing to do this instead of doing something else. And that something else is really important. And I have to make this worth it. I have to make it worth it. So going forward, fear for me is out the window. I'm all in. I'm 100% invested, and if doing what I need to do for myself and my family and our future, if it offends people, if you don't understand it, if it upsets you, if I'm bothering you, too bad. I made a promise. That's bottom line. If I'm tired and I don't feel like it, too bad. I made a promise. If I miss out on events that you invite me to, I apologize, but too bad because I made a promise. And even though it's not permanent yet, I actually wrote on my wrist, it says promise over fear. And like I said, it's permanent marker right now. So if you know a tattoo artist, you guys can hit me up. But it's just a reminder to me as I'm going through my daily activities, and I'm going through my power hour, and I'm going through my business, and I'm hearing the rejections, and I'm seeing what people say about me that may or may not be positive. It does not matter because I made a promise, and my promise to them is what's driving me, and it's more important than the fear. The promise that I made, and I hope I don't sound redundant, but it really is burned into my heart, just like the S on my chest. They think I'm a superhero, and at 4 and 6, they really believe that they can tie a sheet around their necks and jump off a building and fly, and I don't want to be the one to tell them that I'm not a superhero. Let me move on before I start to cry again. As I was looking through my notes about Summit, I was realizing that I felt like a lot of the speakers were talking directly to me. You ever are going through something and everything that you hear starts to speak to you in ways that you don't think it's speaking to other people. I mean, there are tons of people in tears and emotional during sessions and during workshops, but I really felt like they were speaking directly to me. One of the speakers said that there was a quote, inheritance is what you leave to people, but legacy is what you leave in people. And I had to think about the legacy that I want to leave my family, and I don't want the legacy that I leave to be, Mommy was always too stressed or too busy to pay attention, or she was there, but she never really was there, kind of thing. And I wrote on the side of I have my notes here, I wrote in the margin on this page, I don't ever want my kids to think I don't deserve this about anything that they want in life. And that's so true. And it's my job to show them that no matter how big and scary your dreams and your goals are, that they are worthy of them, that there's nothing in them that should tell them that they don't deserve it. They deserve everything and anything that they could possibly dream up to have. And not only that, but they're smart enough to go get it. And if they work hard and they trust and they believe that not only is anything possible, but everything is possible. And I think it was Shalene that asked the question, if you're here as in present, if you're present as in here but not present as in engaged, then what's the story that your family is going to tell? What's the story that they're going to have to give to their future children, like, if you don't have time for them? And that was kind of an ouch for me. Like, yeah, I'm here and we're in the house together all day, but if I'm so stressed and can't function because of this and that and the million things that I got going on, then I'm not really there. But the other thing is that I'm pretty sure it was Shanti. Shanti told us to embrace the vulnerability, and that's really hard for me to do because I am a superhero, and it's hard not to be a superhero. It's hard to share the hard part. It's hard to share the hard parts that you think nobody wants to see because everything is supposed to be positive and rah health and fitness and everything is great, and it's not great all the time, and it's hard, and it's okay. Shanti said it's okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and believe it and take it at face value and fake it till I make it, I guess. I don't know, but I'm gonna move on. And I don't remember who said this quote, but it was also mentioned that if you can learn to move forward despite your fear, you can become unstoppable. And I think unstoppable is a pretty cool superhero trait to have. So I'm gonna be that, and I'm gonna kick fear to the curb, and we're gonna move on. And the last quote that I sort of jotted down was from our amazing CEO, Carl. Carl Daigler is freaking awesome, and I love him so much for even having the audacity to dream that his little fitness business could be such an amazing thing. But he reminded me that you have to put your mask on first before you can save anybody else. We did a lot of flying, so you know that they tell you to put your mask on first before you help your neighbor. And I think that's probably why I've been struggling to be the leader that I can be for not only my coaches but my challengers too. I've been struggling with that because maybe I just didn't have my own mask on first. So I am gonna I'm gonna continue to be consistent about taking taking care of me a little bit better, which I struggle with, which we all do because we're moms and we have a million things going on. But the last thing I guess I want to leave you with, because I didn't realize this video was going to be 20 minutes long, and I apologize, but if you've stuck with me this long, thank you. We all know now how I feel about promises, and I'm going to make another one. And this one is just as important to me because it's going to help me keep my other one. If you've committed to taking this journey with me, whether it's you bought a challenge pack because you need to lose some weight and you need my help, if you want to change your financial health and you want to get rid of your god awful job and you've decided to become a coach with me, if I pass you in the street, I don't care. If you've taken this journey with me, I am making you a promise that if you don't give up on you, I won't give up on you either. And I say you give up on you because you have to make a promise, because this is your health and your life and your family and your future that we're talking about, and this is your legacy. And if you don't have a promise, you're never going to achieve what you are setting out to achieve. You're never going to say, you can wish for what you want, but you won't get it until you work for it, kind of thing, I guess. You make the promise to your family, and I will make the promise that I will help you keep it. That's it, guys. I could probably talk more, but I'm not going to. But those are my takeaways. Summit was amazing. I knew it was going to be emotional, but it's given me a lot of clarity and focus, and I'm ready to get to work. So I'm surprised that the kids haven't busted in, but I'm going to go do some work and live my life by my design.